In 2017, two YouTubers tried to take down communities that they aren't even technically in.
Nice try, Wolfie Journal. Try again, motherfucker.
This is met with mixed reactions.
On this occasion, Daniel Keem has called out a particular group of commentary channels for their long-winded videos on the same drama topics as everyone else. And this is pretty much broken the community. Let's check out the clip.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Pyro here. Fine Alex here. Hi, guys. Fast Spartan. No fuckers here. I'm making a video on a trending topic for that sweet, sweet views. And why am I telling you this? Because I'm self-aware! I'm gonna repeat the same points over and over again so I can take a 3-minute video and turn it to an over 10-minute video for that sweet, sweet ad revenue. And why am I telling you this? Because I'm self-aware! My content is really boring and it's fucking complete garbage. I literally just copy whatever other commentary did the same exact video first. And why am I telling you this? Because I'm self-aware! And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is so you can't criticize me. Self-aware!
Hook, line, baited. This is how Keem is trying to destroy the commentary community. Now, when we get into harmful opinions, it's a little bit different of a matter.
Like, check this out. Undoomed did a video about Twitter and the systems it has now. He put this up about a week ago. So I thought, oh great, someone who did an ad about Candid is willing to criticize Twitter for using similar systems. So I went to check out his Candid ad again and couldn't find it. I could find people sharing it on Twitter, but if you actually click the link for it, the video seems to be gone. I archived the page as proof that it's gone as of now, in case it comes back again and it says it's been made private. Searching the title on his channel doesn't bring it up, but thanks to Encyclopedia Dramatica, I do have an archive proving it was there, and it was a sponsored video. Now, I'll say, can't be sure why this has happened, but it looks bad, and that matters in media. It looks bad that someone took money from a social media website and then criticized their competition for essentially doing the exact same thing the thing they endorsed does, and now it's hard to see the evidence that they were paid by one of them. Not a fan of that happening, I have to say. I mean, listen to what he's saying about Twitter.
We aim to only act on accounts when we're confident, based on our algorithms, that their behavior is abusive. So it's going to be a machine doing the judging. Yeah, that's not Orwellian at all.
Wow, he sounds almost as crazy as me.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So let's just read through their blog.
Okay, maybe a bit crazier. When's the video on Undoomed's conspiracy theory, TJ? Or would that count as breaking solidarity with your fellow professional creators? And by the way, I've actually got a copy of Undoomed's ad. You just heard his opinion of AI moderating on Twitter. What's his opinion on AI moderation when he's being paid?
The moderation is handled by an artificial intelligence, which Candid is improving upon every day. That's the only thing the AI is there for. Is it perfect? No. Few things are in the beginning, and this is the start of this product.
Oh, so that's okay. They're improving it. It's going to get better. Twitter's improving their stuff as well. What's his opinion on that? You know, when he's not being paid.
Since these tools are new, we will sometimes make mistakes. You think? But know that we are actively working to improve and iterate on them every day. Oh, I'm sure you are, you censorship huggers.
Twitter is saying what he said about Candid to defend it, and he's responding to it, putting it down. It's unbelievable. Seriously, people just stop doing this shit, and I'll stop having to make videos about people doing this shit.
Opposed to Keem's baiting and hating harmful opinions, roast those with their own hypocritical actions. I can only think that these so-called skeptics would be torn alive in the commentary community. I don't know why anyone thinks that either of these people are trying to destroy any community at all. They're just trying to make it a little more interesting and a lot less scummier. People might call them monsters for rejecting the community, but fuck it. Call them monsters or villains or assholes if you like. We need monsters to keep the sheep from venturing too far into the dark and getting lost and hurt. Without them, we wouldn't have heroes and... Shit, I'm getting too serious. Quickly, I need to insult some people before I lose audience. Onision's fuck, Ialus is a twat, well, Spartan's fat, Keem is a rat, Madden is a fat. Shit, I forgot the most important person to insult, myself. I'm a dumbass loser who can barely break 10 views, who used to deliver food for a company called Fluff You Chicken. Is that enough self-deprecating humor for you? Of course, I'm joking. Anyone who actually clicked on this video has clicked off by now. Comment below if you actually made it here. I'm sure I could do better than at least half the people doing the skeptic and commentaries on YouTube. But that just means there's a million better people at it than me. Besides, that would just make me an average, basic bitch, and that bores me. Being hated can be fun, so I might try my hand at it someday. But be assured, I won't be jumping on that bandwagon bullshit. Good Lord, I know I've tried in my own weird way. That leads me back full circle to those who have criticism for other. They might be petty, cruel, and insensitive, but does that automatically make them wrong? Not necessarily. I know I said some bullshit earlier about how without monsters we wouldn't have heroes, but if you remember a while ago, there was something called YouTube Heroes, and what a mess that was. Trying to be a hero isn't anything special on the internet. There is nothing special about trying to look good on the internet. In fact, that's what most people try to do. It doesn't take any bravery at all to be an online hero. It takes bravery to be the bad guy. Or stupidity. But what's the fucking difference?
Dumb chillin', you know, I'm a big fan of you. I love all of your comments on my videos. They're really good.
Oh my god, Brian, just shut up. Accurate.
All of them. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I wasn't a fan of literature until I saw you commenting on my videos. So.
Oh my god, Brian. You're friends with Akuma, which is literally the Alex Jones of fucking the art commentary community, for fuck's sake.
I don't know who Akuma is, but like, it seems like he's like the devil in this community or something, apparently.
I mean, just like me. We're basically the same person.
Okay, starting.
So does anybody remember that painfully?
Starting with a little bit of good old Gilded Pooh here for some context. A couple minutes of this video, and we'll find out why I wanted it in here, because it will become relevant at a certain point.
Stereotypical Asian guy that went by Doc on the radio.
Wow! Golly!
Yeah, turns out he's a pedophile, by the way. You see, I'm one of very
proof of that. He's going to provide it, but is it good enough of a standard for commentary or anyone else in the commentary community? Who knows? Who fucking cares? Doesn't seem like anyone does.
Few people that'll actually tell you that. For some weird reason, there's a lot of people that are covering this that have never said that. They won't say those words. There's a lot of things they're actually not saying. Not only what they're not saying, but what they're not thinking. For example, we're supposed to believe that whenever Doc on the radio was trying to date a 13-year-old at 17 years of age on the internet, that he never at any point sent any nudes to that 13-year-old at any point ever.
Kitty, you're on the air.
Yeah, commentary sort of likes to have proof of that, despite what some people say.
Whoa, okay.
It's Kitty, dude.
Who the fuck is Kitty? Is that your girlfriend?
That's
dog?
cringe.
I hate Discord. She's a Discord kitty. I hate her.
You're like my moderator back in like you were like my mod back like 3 years ago in my old server, weren't you?
Dude, we've known each other since like 2017. I was 13 and you were like 17.
Whoa!
Buying something? Hold on.
Hold on,
No,
Discord. I gotta ask you a
Discord,
question.
her name is
Can you have that? Hold on.
So you would expect this to be a video about Doc on the radio, right?
How old are you now?
I'm gonna be 18. I'm 17 right now. I'm gonna be 18 in
Oh,
June.
thank God. Okay, I thought I was about to get like absolutely destroyed.
Good job, Doc. You waited until they were legal.
Wait, oh no.
Wait. Did he fucking flash a Nick Fuentes tweet up on the screen? Damn.
The joke about mine is, oh no, I'm screwed.
Okay, smack. For the record, I have never shown anything. I've never shown my penis on Discord.
What? Yeah, I just totally buy that. Just fucking wholesale believe it. But more importantly than that, we're also not supposed to.
You know what, Gilded Poo? You don't just have to listen and believe. You can look for fucking evidence for your claims.
To ask the simple question of, wait, you never said anything.
But you know what? Because it's not about Doc on the radio, it's about Toastify. The hypocrisy of Toastify. Just a little bit of this before the boring Beckett criticism. Because trust me, it's going to be boring.
Think about receiving nudes. So did he receive them? I don't know. Don't ever speculate anything. Don't ask too many questions. Just consume the slop, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe ask the questions to the people who are relevant. You're not going to get it from Toastify. It seems a bit interesting to me, but that's different. You know what? Gilded Poo should have at least made an attempt to ask that question to Toastify. Like, was there any evidence? Blah, blah, blah. Would have made this video so much better.
And if for some weird reason you don't believe any of that, here's him admitting it.
Doc's response read as follows. So I EA'd the girl when I was 17 and she was 13. Nothing sexual ever happened, and the relationship ended officially after I turned 18. I've said that I would never do that again, and it was stupid for me.
Okay, that statement alone. He was 17 when she was 13. Yes, creepy as all hell. But there's so much context that could just make it worse. It's creepy. It's creepy. But He's on the record. Nothing sexual ever happened and it's e-dating. What does that actually mean? I don't know. Different people have different definitions of e-dating, especially kids.
Me to do that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll just be honest. Like, yeah, I obviously wouldn't do that again. The relationship.
And just be clear, I'm not saying anyone's in the right. I'm just asking questions here. Isn't it
As you may have noticed by reading the title of the video, this video is not about Doc on the radio. It's about Toastify and the
Well, it seems like a little bit of a pussy move, but touche to you.
fact that the call that you just heard was recorded on March 3rd, 2024, a year and 3 days previous to that call's upload to the internet. Toastify actually sat there for an entire fucking year on this information and said nothing to anybody with exception to some content creators behind the scenes, thereby giving a giant fat fuck you to his entire audience. But not just his audience, the audience he shares amongst the incestuous community that he takes part in. It's really crazy that this person, in my opinion, would hold on.
Part of the community that you take part in, it seems like. I don't know. He's part of the art commentary, one of the bad boys of that Beckett likes to have on and thinks is a troll, I guess.
To that information for a year when his entire brand is, quote, documenting degeneracy. I mean, that's literally what he wrote in his fucking YouTube banner. It's right there. But what's even more funny than that is this is the same guy that made an entire video lecturing the internet on the ethical way of discussing degenerates online. Somebody who sits there and lectures.
Why I want to agree with fucking Gilded Pooh. He's way too autistic and way too hyper-focused here. Trust me. The relevance of this will become apparent, and I don't think I need any more. But to comment on this, the standards of Gilded Pooh, there's a reason no one uses them. And on with the show. Autism. Great intro.
Jar is the personification of every terrible thing that has ever been said about the ACC. He is the snakiest.
Molly malware. You start off your video, Beckett, with the Molly malware. This is definitely a crafted video. 2, ride the freak that is Jar. And this isn't a defense of Jar. He's a fucking autistic mega brain idiot for his involvement in this, which I didn't go any deep into it. I thought it was just standard Spurg outs crap, and maybe it is, but it hurt Jar. Got Kumo to fucking run away from the internet, which he should have done earlier when he said he was going to do before he got into this shit. But then the ACC stuff started picking up traction, and he was right on board. Thought he was a hero and went with this dumbass play here. But that's one thing. This is another.
Bleachiest I have ever seen.
Recently, in the wake of his video defending Cinebear from serious grooming allegations, Just a Robot found himself involved in one of the most insane livestream interviews of all time, being ripped limb from limb by Chud.
Was it your live stream interviews? Oh, and before I get too far, 30 seconds in, because Molly, should I wait? Should I wait? Yeah, I should wait.
Logic.
Right. So you were trying to use my platform in order to spread your message under the auspices of, oh, I just want your feedback. That's extremely manipulative. And I'm amazed that you think I would fall for that. I'm astounded that you think you could pull a fast one on me like this.
Why?
Just for the record, Just a Robot has more subscribers than Chud Logic. He keeps on... I don't know why he keeps on doing this. Okay, keeps on flashing these YouTubers do this. It's like he's trying to create an air of credibility, which is something I'm going to talk about a little bit funny when it gets into other things.
And I'm amazed that you think I would fall for that. I'm astounded that you think you could pull a fast one on me like this.
Well, I did want your feedback.
Who are you kidding?
Now, you might be misled into thinking that Jar is some sort of new kid on the block, but his history on the internet goes way, way back, and it's wrapped up in multiple dramas and content.
Yes, it does, and a lot of it's shrouded in mystery. Going back and trying to figure it out, even though I sort of researched this myself many years ago. I should have known to take videos, but I didn't know this would become relevant nowadays, but we'll see.
In fact, drama and controversy may be the one consistent thing about the guy, because his earliest content was wrapped up in the anti-SJW skeptic community. And while I've held off on talking about Jar for a while now, there was one moment in the Chudlogic interview that really caught my interest.
And that's sort of off the rails. His first thing was deviant ranter crap under CO something. I'm going off memory.
I am in the wrong. I will happily take down my video. I've been lied about plenty of times. I've always fought back against people slandering and lying about me. I'm not fighting back this time because I know, after chatting with you and watching through your video, that I am in the wrong here.
Now that claim, that Jar has been lied about and slandered over the years, is a really, really interesting one. Because its history is so messy and convoluted, there's no comprehension.
Yes, Beckett's not going to actually be able to deny this. He actually addresses this way back here after all this other stuff. Let's take a look. Blackface, sex best. Friend zone is an interesting one. That's really just sort of an extension of sex pest, I believe.
Timeline that really exists for Jar. So alternatively, I've interviewed many of the people who've interacted or had issues with Jar over the years, because I think the best way to show you who Jar is to show you who Jar is. Thoughts on Jar?
Yeah, gay, autistic.
The stuff.
Queeman was in this. This is just a fucking dog pile in video form. Look at all these creators we like in our community. What about in the actual ACC? Yeah, very nice.
This recently occurred with Cinebear isn't an outlier. It's part of a much larger pattern for the way he behaves with other creators online and presents himself.
In anyone new to Jar, this is complete and utter poison of the well. Attention or not, who the fuck cares? That's people coming into this drama fresh, not knowing any of the players. Yeah. It's rather bullshit. What about the evidence, you might ask about? Well, we'll get into that.
To an audience. So what we're going to do here today is look through many of his previous actions and build a profile of one of the most crazy internet autists I think currently exists on YouTube.
Blackface arc. This is funny as all shit.
Yeah. This one goes out to my coolies. Yeah.
I think a good place to start with Jar is his professional victimhood, which is at such astonishing levels, it beggars belief.
I avoided talking about the ArtCC dramas because ArtCC people tend to be a bit backstabby.
Interestingly, this is a sentiment he'd repeat to Cinebear in his recent and now deleted video where he goes to bat for her.
That's why I hate ArtCC people. They're insanely backstabby.
But what does Jar mean by this? What situations has he been in that he just assumes everyone is out to stab him in the back? Well, this is most probably one of those cases where you just assume that others are going to do to you what you will do to them. Because if...
You know what? Beckett's horrible at a timeline. This is a complete and utter crappy-ass timeline that is taken completely from people who dislike Jar over the years or have reasons to.
Anybody is a backstabbing bitch? It's Jar. He's very willing to sort of like put the knife in and twist it. And from what I hear, it's because like he'll hold...
Toastify. I have no fucking clue why he used Toastify in this video. That's even almost less relevant than fucking Queeman. Again, Queeman's another person. What? See, Beckett doesn't establish with this Toastify's appearance. I cannot figure out why Beckett thought his involvement, since he had no involvement with him besides credibility. That's it. What justification is it to keep Toastify in this video and have him just talk shit? Yeah, interesting.
A grudge for like 5 years, 10 years, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, let's say somehow his Cinebear like affiliation alliance succeeded. Let's say the video goes off amazingly. Everyone's like, let's go. This is amazing. It's pretty likely that sometime in the future, when they have a falling out, Just a Robot would forget all of that and then completely turn on his previous position just to go at Cinebear for whatever reason. Like that's what that seems to be like what he's done, and everyone just kind of skirt past it because everyone just thinks like, oh, he's just got the right opinion. Like it's fine.
The video
seems like that's what everyone thinks. Look at the language. Toastify is much worse later on.
The video we're currently watching clips from is his one on Hopeless Peaches. And like many other dramas in the past, the minute Jar has an opportunity to take a shot at somebody, regardless on what terms he is on with them, he will take it. Which makes this next bit incredibly ironic.
It doesn't matter how many times you shout them out, defend them in a drama, or anything else. To them, you're just another potential target for them to make a video on.
So I, unfortunately, had the displeasure of going through your Susie video today, because I had it beforehand. Because I've had people tell me it was
Oh, look, it's the professional drill sergeant of the Senate. Okay. Who's definitely created a great sort of network and seems to be recreating it or trying to get back into the good graces of this new reformed ACC, which is pretty much what Beckett has created. Oh, God. His takes. I criticized him on his how he used a certain clip from a black YouTuber to make his points to a late drama he came to, which had nothing to do with him. That was the anime community. He butts in whenever he thinks he has an end. I'm not going to deny some of these claims, but I am thinking Leo Convoy, not the most credible source. There is all these sources is trust me, bros. Okay. Yes, Leo Convoy knows Jar very well. He's kept him out of trouble. He's been his tard wrangler. But now for some side, there's a good reason why Leo is turning against Jar, I think. Well, many different reasons.
and I wanted to make sure I knew. So I'm going to tell you what I saw in that video, Jar. I saw you dancing on the grave of somebody who, with the exception of voicing in a video, which you and her.
This is what Leo Convoy saw. The guy who fucking bullied autistic woman and everyone came down on him. Again, this is Leo, a pretty mature guy talking down to an autistic YouTuber. He doesn't hold his punches and he's a complete and utter asshat drill sergeant wannabe for I don't know how he's reformed. I haven't kept up with him since I sort of did my own sort of impression of him.
Resolved between yourselves, dancing on the grave of somebody who'd been nothing but kind.
My relation, my impression of him and Senate in whole. He might have reformed. He might have changed. I'm just not seeing it. This seems like good old Lee, good old school bully Rose Leo here. A little bit downplay, but he knows he's on camera here and it's going to get played because it was for a video that was in private.
Jar will say that the accusations against him have been long debunked. And while we'll look into why he's been able to make that claim, there's one particular accusation that I really...
But they have been debunked. Let's get to his fucking point.
want to hone in on because it deserves some analysis.
Then to everybody in the art...
Why does it deserve analysis? Do you think blackface is a cancelable offense, Beckett? Why so much focus on this? I can understand this shit. And I'm going to be going over it, see how much evidence he presents. Does blackface? Why is this in here?
CC. Guys, if your allegations about me being racist haven't worked the first 50 times, then they're not going to work this time. Like, seriously, I have been called racist by the ArtCC for doing an accent. At this point, things are just getting petty.
At the risk of making Jar sound dangerously based, let's just say the racism accusations are more than just doing some voices. Now, while I don't personally care, I think that there is more than enough...
Remember, he doesn't personally care. Remember, why are you putting this whole section in if you don't personally care? Oh, because of his interactions with other people who do.
That if you wanted to make that accusation, it is a reasonable one to make, and Jar getting so upset about it is absolutely insane.
The only time I remember him saying it was when he said, say, but even then that was to make fun of a white girl. Oh, so your thumbnail maker is...
He was quoting the famous iDubbbz thing, and Beckett bleeped it out, or maybe Jar did, okay? I have no clue.
White person or according to you. I decided to reveal my true colors.
Okay, I thought this was in relations to one of his black roommates' appearances, Professor Dreadlock, but this video is going to go over it later, that this was apparently an artist's fuck up, which you can definitely criticize Jar for if he's not lying in that case. If that's just an excuse, you can criticize him for this. If the artist, he put it in, Well, I guess that is the plausible deniability. When you do the audio, you're autistic and you send it out to be edited by other people, which I think is a process that JAR utilizes. But don't hold me to that.
I, just a robot, am in fact black.
Just to be clear, this goofy motherfucker is like the whitest person I have ever seen. And let's not forget about the outro song to this dude's old videos.
My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just the robot marches on.
And before you say, hey, Beckett, that's just the Battle Hymn of the Republic. What are you talking about, bro? It was noted by several sources that this rendition bears a striking similarity to the rendition in American History X.
And why the fuck should anyone care? You don't care. You don't think it's bad. Why keep bringing this shit up? Standpoint theory. Beckett doesn't care, but he will put forth POCs who do care. This is the most lame attempt at it that I've seen. No, most blatant trying to hide it that I've seen. And that's what he's doing. Just not saying he's doing it like some leftist.
Juba, 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 the white man marches on.
He was begging for me to explain how calling a black woman an ugly little black thing is racist.
Oh wait, is that what he actually said? Because I've never heard the racism accusations.
He did. It's bad.
He
like,
called,
oh my god.
Yeah, he called.
This whole process, Beckett's process, comes from listening to people and using their testimonials. Yeah, he has a little bit of research to back up this, but why?
Omnia, stupid black woman, for them having a disagreement. He then went on to he had made a video on something about race bending, because he always has beef with like black characters in anime. But you know what? You can have your own opinion, even though it's sus in my opinion. But anyway, in that video, he called Michelle.
You gotta like those clarifiers. You can have your opinion because she knows this is a edgy. This caters to both sides of the aisle. Spurgicides.
Obama a man, and like
what?
had like some racist memes in there. Yeah, and then he's like straight up, he just likes to say the N-word and just like say crazy things. But he says that it's because he has apparently his black.
Okay, time for a break. Okay, at the end of the day, let's get Oh, I put the title there. Let me not do too much here. Let me just transfer this. What is this mine? Yeah, with the timestamps. Who the hell knows? You can see this now. Let me double check with that. Double checking with that. Lots of problems with autism in their community. Okay, he's definitely highly autistic from this thing. And let me bring up some samples of her particular video here. I got 213. Let's start here. Let me make sure this is up and running, and there we go. Just a robot lied about VidCon and everything else. Of course he did. Just his black soda. Sorry, his what's not now? What is the focus of this? How does it start off? Let's get a little bit of that.
At the time, it was a fairly different bunch of creators back then. Did and said a lot of stupid things, including in relation to the issue of racism in the forms of several public crash outs. And when criticized by
public crash outs, remember that. They're watering that fucking term down.
Two black creators by the names of Omnia and Zay, known at the time as Kai Weiss, for her takes, she really didn't respond well. What proceeded was practically all of Toby's creator friends throwing for content to defend her while claiming they weren't. At that point, another black creator, Thuman, stepped in to lend support to Omnia and Zay as she felt the two were being unfairly treated by the community.
Okay, this is all context for what she's about to get into.
And then Jar appeared with a video collaboration with two other creators, so he could also criticize Omnia and Zay. That video he made was dog shit. I would know. I made a video on it at the time. I would link to that video so everyone could go watch it, but it's been private for a long while now. 3 years at this point.
And you can't fucking unprivate it and put it in the fucking description. Is that hard? If you said it was deleted on a lost channel, I could understand. But it's just private. Why should I unprivate it? Let me reframe. Pretty much, let me give you a retelling of that video that's private. And I don't want to release it.
Now, I want to be clear about the contents of that video real quick. That is a woke-ass video that was made during a woke-ass time because I am a woke-ass bitch, and I'm fully aware that the political climate has drifted away from where it was when I made it.
And this is why I'm going to tone down my language and try to fit in with the new, more edgy boys. So, wokeness, woke side, right?
Literally had Nazi salutes on the new president's inauguration from his biggest deep throater. Even with all that said, though, the video still holds up in the arguments I made against Jar and the others. Even from a non-political standpoint, the video by Jar I was covering was just cheeks. None of the points made any sense, and the participants were really dishonest.
You know what? I would have rather you unprivate the fucking video so people can go through it and see if this isn't just time changing you and you reframing it because Jar's being a fucking idiot right now and you're taking this chance. Not that I can blame her. You got to take your shots when you can sometimes.
Honest in their arguments. And real quick, I'm fully...
But I don't think I would do this particular tactic of being like, I have the video privated and I could link it, but let me not. Let me just tell you this. And it's the truth because Jar is autistic freak, which is also true.
Aware that Manga Comment apologized for his involvement in that video, so I'm really not trying to dog on.
He apologized, so let him pass, guys. Let him pass. He's reformed, okay. He's become a good ally.
On him here. He's not the guy even saying shit publicly that would put me in a position where I feel the need to defend the merit that my video had. So leave him alone. And also, in regards to the video, even from a political standpoint, I said it was a...
Why did you even bring him up? Did you need to bring up? That's weird. Okay, fine. Maybe she thought they would know. Her audience, I don't know.
Woke-ass video, but like, it wasn't even really that woke, especially in the stereotypical sense. I displayed zero of the unpopular SJW mentality.
Guys, I'm not a SJW. I'm still just going after Jar with this blackface crap. Seriously. If you're woke, you're woke. If you were SJW, you were SJW. Why are you trying to rewrite history? It almost seems even from looking back, but that's a matter of opinion. What's woke and what's not. What's woke to one is not woke to another. And woke and anti-woke have evolved over ages. What are they? Who even knows at this point? Hard to keep track. They seem to be pivoted in the anti-woke and the woke.
In that video and was incredibly compassionate to basically everyone I talked about in relation to the issue of race.
Oh, I'm just such a compassionate person about all this.
And well articulated for my age. So if all that's the case, then why did I take it down when I was still making videos?
Oh.
We'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about Jar first. It wasn't long after that point that Jar's extremely racist past actions, including using a black Sona to do...
You know what? When I usually have something where I bring something up and want to talk about it later, there's a particular point. I want to sort of segment that into sections. I don't know why people do this. I'll talk about it later. I know why I do it sometimes. Remember this for later. It'll always be a point that comes up later. Maybe it comes up later in this video and it's relevant, but maybe it doesn't.
Albeit less visually characteristic minstrelsy for a video.
Just a Kang. I decided to reveal my true colors. I, just a robot, am in fact black.
As well as other comments, came to light and really knocked him on his ass. And because I was one of the people who made a video on him who was also of the melanated variety, I was asked to talk to him to help educate him on how pretending to be black...
No, she just went to educate him. I think besides being autistic, all the education from various creators, because it seems like fucking Jar was open to this. Even the sort of clip that Beckett played with Chud Logic, I think Jar was genuinely going to Chud. Of course, he's a fucking moron, doesn't listen to the right people, doesn't do the right things, and somehow managed to get along, probably because people feel sorry for him and his autism and the past accusations, which Beckett's gonna bring up in his video. I have it until the 6-minute marker for some reason. I forget why.
Black to say a bunch of stupid shit as blackface, and saying that black people using the N-word is hypocritical was stupid. That convo did.
What the hell?
That black people using the.
Okay. Let me read this to see what the screen. Okay, I'll change a few things, but not everything. Said I don't think black people should say the N-word because then white people will want to say it too, like in a rap song, like that one chick got in trouble for being brought on stage to sing the song with the rapper. Some examples. Let's hope it's not an example like that she's getting into. That's like the stream case. In theory, oh God, it's a good argument since minorities are reclaiming slurs is a way to obviously reclaim the dirt era of oppression and bigotry against them. See, she has a whole bunch of pre-established notions about this that is going to shape her view. Does she think this is a good talk? It's not a good argument to look at a word used by bigots and see those words as directly trying to reclaim it go. But if you cause blah, 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 they would feel the need to reclaim blah, blah, blah. Maybe in the future it'll fade out of obscurity. But right now, racists still use the N-word. So saying black people shouldn't reclaim it as a counterproductive. Okay. I understand this argument. I think both sides of this. Yeah, they can use it. White people probably shouldn't use it, but should they be able to? I don't fucking know.
N-word is hypocritical was stupid. That convo didn't go much of anywhere and ended with him sad and distressed over how being.
Yeah. This really seems fucked up thing to do to a truly autistic person. Should I think Jar should be respected in any community? No, but why? Why do this? Why lift him up to be such a fucking raging idiot and help him along? And oh God, sorry.
White is really hard sometimes, which I slammed my face into the desk.
Yeah, this is a lot of this fucking backlash we're getting right now. And it can be. Discrimination is a thing against white people. It is still also for black people, okay? People forget this. It goes both ways.
After reading. Since then, with Jar somehow making it off scot-free from all that shit, switched up and acted as though he...
Scot-free? What he should have been pressed on, okay? What should have he been pressed on?
Was innocent all along and was never racist.
You never... Yeah. Okay. Doing a racist act and being a race is two different things. That's what these people cannot get through their head.
Know for what or when you'll be canceled. Maybe you were live streaming and you suddenly screamed out the N-word. Maybe you lied about a drama which caused people to dig into your past about other dramas you have talked about.
Oh, I got a clip that came up today. I'm going to use it now because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It helps out two different ways. Okay, let it play. Little bit while I have this sort of session here.
Maybe you're completely innocent and the allegations against you are false.
Nice to see that aged like milk in the summer sun. It will
What?
forever be hilarious to me.
How did that age like milk in the summer sun? I'm just not understanding. Why are you just assuming this crap? This is still just the racism accusation repackaged, supported by a commentary channel who doesn't care about racists or any of those sort of jokes, which is just fucking hypocritical to me.
The way this guy crashes the fuck out.
Not the biggest thing in the world. Hypocrites. Everyone's hypocritical at times. We do our best to stay consistent. Okay, you can't be 100% all the time, but you should do your best. And I don't see how Beckett wouldn't have realized. This probably came out after his video. Do we see any criticism from Beckett? Probably, maybe happened privately. Like maybe you shouldn't have made. No, probably not.
Every time his actions are called out for being racist. With him tweaking that Ponder shares in that sentiment about him, apparently blaming me for what.
Oh, Ponder. Someone who made videos on him 8 years ago. And Beckett went to for his last section for some strange reason. Because she has clout. She's gotten criticism from Akumo and probably even Gilded Boo. Who fucking knows?
Why she thinks that? Jar since then has also spoken about my video on him. Well, kind of. He's made these weird, vague, looming threats, including when I didn't even have a platform.
Look at the language here. Vague, looming threats. What are those threats? And why do you not have a platform at the time? That's what I don't understand.
In his ACC video about how he has Thumanized videos
thank
on
you.
him downloaded.
Thank you. Show us the threat that Jar made.
So he'll be able to cover them down the line.
Suman and Dulu took their videos about me down before I even got to them, but at least I have them downloaded, so that's cool. ArtCC people can sure dish it out, but they can't take it at all.
This is the same thing that Kumo, and sorry, not Kumo, probably Kumo would have done this. Something Akumu, someone who's also been on a lot of Beckett's streams talking about the ACC against these sort of people, which Beckett seemed to have humor. I haven't been able to keep up with the whole saga, but it seems close enough.
Which, seeing how he admitted to going after all his detractors from back in the fucking Stone Age, he definitely was planning on making videos on us. He even...
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is the worst thing in the bad faith assumptions from people who have every reason to throw Jar under the bus. I'm not saying this is not necessarily true. It's just a leap in logic that it really, that evidence doesn't really support it. Not even when you extend about his files and files. That's just a paranoia, a commentary, like with Akumu, sort of builds. And all these fucking people do this, it seems like. And they'll take down and try to hide shit. Look at Akumo's video on the ACC if you don't believe me. I don't back it 100% completely, probably because I can't keep up with the autistic detail of that fucking thing. But a lot of it seems on the surface, seems fairly solid.
Brought up how all the videos made on him during the Toby situation were taken down in an effort to prove the case that he's won every...
Yeah, and are any of them back up? Sorry, it seems to be quite a waste of time, and I sort of fucked up with a couple of different things. But I know I have the clips within this. So let's go with this. Why I just look into my clips, little handy dandy clips. Actually, let me just switch back over here and let this play for a bit while I set it up differently.
Roommate doesn't mind it, so
It's not even racism against black people.
I've got a black friend.
Literally.
Yeah, he actually made a video. He said, "My friend." I asked my black friend that is his roommate, Professor Dreadlock. He said he's fine. So
see, that didn't come up in her video at all. I thought that "we was kings" thing came from a joke that he was doing because people thought Professor Dreadlocks was him doing blackface when it wasn't. But I don't know. I don't remember the timeline better. Supposedly, Beckett will get into it.
He wasn't mad about it.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God. And he did a video where he said that Asian people speak English.
Yeah,
good.
He
Send
also
me all
said
of it.
something about Jewish people.
A lot of the people who work directly.
Why do you want dumb, very biased people against Jar to send it all to you? He talks to Jar, okay? And I think this is some sort of fucking setup. Like he tried to do with Himpleton, maybe? Or was that Kinetic Kel? Suspicious.
Under Larry Fink were Jewish, up to the point that a lot of people who worked in the company called his desk, quote, Little Israel. And this is why some people have accused me of asking the Jewish question.
Now, nothing I'm presenting here is particularly new. Jar's been dealing with these accusations.
For them to make a video.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't care. skipped it. The Jewish question. If you're accused of the Jewish question, he's autistic. Fucking hell. Fucking with him, get him bait.
I think I've mentioned some things along those lines.
Bait,
And it's interesting watching your reaction to that.
I know. The reason why I think I have.
See, it's all about his reaction, not to actually what's been accused of him. There's a lot of focus about how he reacted, not about what was sent out against him. It seems a little biased to me. Focus on just one side, but this would qualify as a hit piece. Something I try to avoid doing. There's a few times where I can't find certain people I can't find many redeeming qualities in some people. I mean, they do have some, but the bad sometimes outweighs the good. And this, I don't even know.
Such a visceral reaction. Before the Cine Bear stuff, that was the closest I ever. That was the closest I have ever come to being canceled. Prismate Luke talked about it. Thuman, Kai, and a bunch of other people were going to talk about it. But I apologized very early on. And
yeah, a lot of the people who are gone now. I mean, yes, he is paranoid. He's a paranoid, autistic, schizo type guy. But at the end of the day, he's easily led around, led astray.
Then it kind of went away, but people kept on bringing it up. And it's kind of become a meme, in a way.
He's an idiot.
Like, I even brought up in my Cine Bear video, like, come on, you don't even think I'm racist? Boo. Like, it's kind of become a meme. I've kind of accepted it. But when it first happened, my biggest connection with another YouTuber was Kuro the artist. And Prismate Luke painted me incredibly, incredibly uncharitably. Like, he claimed that my roommate's avatar, he wasn't my roommate at the time, but now he is, but my roommate's avatar, Professor Dreadlock, was a quote-unquote blackface version of me, even though the only thing they have in common is it's in the same art style.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I've seen that image. I've only seen the...
See, Beckett didn't see that image. That did not get leaked to him. He's getting sources from biased people, and he's going to run with their narrative, which apparently he doesn't care about the blackface allegations, but he starts with it for some reason. It seems like talking out of both sides of his mouth to me. But I could be wrong. He could have reasons why he would do this. But I'm not going to track down his thing. If anyone wants to put in the comments his reasoning for his process, why he goes to the enemies of someone to get the dirt, then brings them in, which seems like a horrible methodology to me. Should probably go through the timeline. But researchers, I don't know. It seems fucked up to me.
One where you've got sort of your robot character properly sort of race swapped in your video where you're talking about, I believe, Sean King and some of the stuff that's happening around black identitarian politics.
Yes. That's another. I don't personally think that was blackface, but what happened there is the artist who did my original avatar drew that picture of me because that's how she assumed I looked in real life. And if you've seen any leaked pictures of me, you know I don't look a thing like that.
I am aware of the leaked pictures. I will say I know that your sort of face isn't out there. So if any like image of you is used, it will be blurred. So I'm not sort of...
Yeah, it was used in the one you went for the information, the same image that Jar talks about, and the crying. Oh God, I swear, it's just the soy face, a different version of the soy face. God.
Face revealing you. But I know those images are sort of pretty widely shared around. I think I've seen them on Twitter as well. At this,
I just hate that everybody uses the lowest res image of me. I'm like, there's literally every image of me that I leaked. It was higher quality than that one, but everybody loves to use the one where I'm in low resolution for some reason.
I think it's the Superman shirt, mate. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, I swear to God. I mean, good joke, Beckett.
Then that has a lot to do with it.
I think it's embarrassing to admit that I'm wearing a Superman shirt right now.
Oh God.
Fair enough. But okay, I think that sort of clears up that question. No, actually, no. Sorry, I had one other thing. The song you use at the end of your videos, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, that you had for the way those videos
Beckett.
that I saw just as signal.
I forgot how
I was
bad
actually
this
creating
was.
my channel, and I thought, when I heard that racist.
Why the fuck does Beckett sound so nervous with the Does he know he's setting up Jar and feels bad about it? Maybe. Okay, let me not do that. It just seems really weird that Jar is talking way more fluently here than Beckett is. It just odd.
Rendition of it, I thought, oh, I'm going to make my own rendition of this song. Like, it's a rendition of a rendition. And one of my friends, who's not my friend anymore, helped me come up with the lyrics. And yeah, that's where the song came from. By the way, highly recommend the movie American History X. My one problem is when the white nationalist guy is shooting, that gun had way too much ammo for a pistol.
As a fun.
That actually tells you a lot about Jar. Okay, he does not process some of the themes and things, the technical aspects, the gun. This is a typical thing of autists. Like, that's not realistic. It's a movie, dude. Okay, why do you have to hyper focus on that stuff? Because of my autism. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, but it shows the level of autism of how Jar thinks. How's he going to use this? Because there's several times he sort of hypes up. Everything about this is hyped up. Why can they do this so easily? My opinion is because Jar really fucked up. Dogpiling a start. Which morally, ethically, I have issues with. Sometimes I can sort of, if it's that big of an offense, dogpiling can be something, but for some stupid shit, it seems a little odd, except for content to laugh at, which great wise, but horrible video.
Elements of this section are just like
horrible video that is very fucking biased. It is a straight up hit piece. Okay, no nuance, even though the interview with Jar might make people think Beckett's actually fair. The video tells a contrary story.
To hone in on the element of Jar making apologies, because in this regard, it can be.
But American History X, though, if people want a dogpile, yeah, it's not hard for Jar. Many people have done it to the past. Jar tends to run to someone for help. It's been Leo for so long, and he lost Leo or thought he lost Leo. I don't know the details there. He goes to Chud. Chud actually seemed somewhat fair, but that one clip really clipped him, or from earlier in this video, seems a little poisoning of the well-ish. But that's the sort of autistic internet. I'm sure Beckett doesn't care if it poisons the well, because it does. For a lot of new viewers.
It's difficult to take them at face value.
Going to help me with my apology video. That's going to be on me. And I'm...
Jar, here's the problem.
Yeah.
Your apology video, it's not going to have any value to it. And the reason why it's not going to have any value to it because you have gone on record before saying you will revoke apologies. That's...
Well, no. Well, I haven't revoked all of them, but like...
And here lies the problem with...
In the cutoff of that, what was he going to say after that? Why has he revoked apologies down the line? See, I would just put that in, or at least insert that into my video. This is the reason Jar, after playing that clip, I would have been like, Jar went with the apologies because of blah, 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 but stumbles it out like a fucking moron.
A lot of the stuff with Jar. The
But
dude
no.
has no spine and no conviction. However, I do have to thank Jar for one thing. Because
I mean, that part's true, but how's that relevant? Oh, this is a profile. That's fine. That's fine. If you weren't using a whole bunch of biased evidence against him with blackface.
Continue playing the clip that set up the racism segment. It brings us nicely onto our next section.
Try calling me sexist next time. At least there's plenty of...
Is that his excuse for this? I mean, he wouldn't harp on someone for blackface. Would he harp on someone for being a sex pest? Probably more. Let's watch.
evidence for that allegation.
I will say the editing of this was done well. I should put better editing into my videos, but I'm just getting lazy. At least I make fucking videos, unlike some people.
During the latter half of his conversation with Chud Logic,
So I got to give Beckett props for actually making videos on top of his streaming.
FPS Diesel would make an appearance and drop an unexpected bombshell.
Right, what is this?
Okay, I got to just do this. I love when the Willie Mac section, when he's talking to Willie Mac, Beckett's like, yeah, I went to OpBlock in FDS Diesel for optics check. And Willie's like, why the fuck would you go to them? They know even less about this than you do. That was a very good point, which, again, relevant or not, really quick. And I have no clue how this plays into this. This seems like a weird thing to insert, except for to put big numbers in front of you.
Yo, you're all good. You can finish it up tomorrow, in fact. Yeah. What a cute little pussy.
Now, this raises an interesting question. Is this an outlier, or does Jar have some...
What is the context of that fucking clip? Maybe it comes up next.
Some sort of well-known history in
still leading the cart before the carriage here.
relation to his odd behavior towards women.
I mean, look, I told you in DMs before. You throw a rock at a woman in this community, they'll tell you a story about Jar. It's like an instinctive reaction.
And that's not an understatement. Basically, every woman I've spoken to has a story. And in some cases, people have heard about this project and are just sending me their DMs with Jar. Now, I'm going to level...
Okay, what do you show us? Okay, what do you see from him? If you're under 20, don't hit on me. Okay, I think he brings this up later. Someone sends a... What? How's this weird? This is someone who's like, yeah, I can't be seen talking to anyone under 20. It just seems smart for someone who's a YouTuber. Well, a little bit autistically direct, but that's Jar.
With you. I want to limit this to the conversations I've actually had with people who have platforms, because it's quite easy in situations like this for people to come out with accusations which are later shown to be false. That being said, we are going to start with Jar's form.
Yeah, it's better to use biased sources who's already have a beef against Jar instead of maybe people, or I think this former anonymous supposedly editor for Jar that later Beckett declines to identify, which I don't blame him for, but yeah, they're hiding their identity because they're scared of Jar. That would be the implication of keeping her anonymous. And maybe they should. I don't fucking know what sort of pull Jar has in the community. I'm not behind the scenes sort of guy.
I'm an artist. Given that they're a bit of a ground zero for this being discussed, you worked with Jar as his artist. Can you tell me some of the interactions you had with Jar?
Yeah. Well, most of it on my side was just like super professional and like, you know, like it started out really, really professional and simple.
Okay, we're getting the professional stuff.
Like any kind
Evidence.
of client, check the date, VC. Oh yeah, I can totally probably we know just wanted like with revealed him that
Just being a little bit
and then weird when he said that.
What? No evidence? You could block out her DMs. Just one fucking example, unless that clip was related to this girl here. I don't see the legitimate how it connects. It's definitely gonna lead from the audience perspective to believe that clip played by, and maybe it was, maybe that was the relationship and I just didn't follow the drama well enough. But faux pas for this video, I don't know how that clip that he played of Jar connects to any of this shit here.
That I was like, okay, no worries. And then I disappeared, never VC'd him. And then I got another message saying, are we not VCing? And I had told him that I accidentally fell asleep.
Jar has picked some bad fucking people for handlers. Okay, he needs a Tard Wrangler who ain't gonna fuck him over. And that's on Jar also. Leo Convoy, then he goes to fucking Chud Logic and Himpleton and whoever else will listen to him. The dude's a codependent, sort of autistic guy. And he's going to the wrong people. Why? Probably because, like Beckett, he's concerned. He likes the numbers. He respects people for popularity reasons. or reputational reasons. And if they're in the gutter, he doesn't trust their judgment, which seems rather autistic trait to me.
Which was probably bullshit. I just didn't want to VC him, but
While requests to just jump into a voice call aren't unique to Jar within the ACC, he has certainly garnered a reputation for being a little bit weird about the whole thing, even amongst that crowd. You
Reputation amongst this crowd.
all know me. I'd love to do the whole kind of concerned, I think this is a really serious problem. It's also just fucking hilarious.
You said this to me before, that basically my surprise was surprising, because I kind of forget not everyone is just kind of used to it. Jar asking about women's pussies is nothing new. He did it all the time when we would BC. Like, oh god, back
MVC, where there's no evidence. Was it part of a setup for a joke, like something that shows up with, you want to see my cock? And show a picture of a cock. Yes. Fucking autistic, not able to handle yourself with personal interactions, behavior. But I would like to see the framing around these testimonials, because these people are biased against Jar. This was 3 years ago that they were like, let me leave him out in the cold. And what's the reason for that? I don't even care about hearing that.
Fortunately, one exists. Let's talk about VidCon. Now, to provide you a bit of forewarning, the stories I'm about to tell you about VidCon 2023 are quite autistic. Allow me, though, to set the scene for you. A few days prior to...
Okay, he actually needs to do this. Okay. Is it a biased one? I'll judge in a bit.
The event, Jar would release a thumbnail for his upcoming Spoctor video, which included a reference to EDP. Even with the allegations against Spoctor, some people felt this went a bit far. One of whom was Mally.
I had seen that, and I replied to his thumbnail thing on Twitter being like, hey, this is fucking dumb. Don't imply someone is, as bad as EDP when they're not.
The fallout from this thumbnail was actually pretty significant, and it's become its own little bit of Jar lore within the art commentary community. It actually even ended his friendship with another creator who...
The thumbnail. That friendship ended over a fucking thumbnail that made cheeky reference to fucking EDP. This is like...
goes by Harley. But personally, I think the...
Yeah, Jar pissed off Harley, so all the commentary spurgs turned their back, turned into a drama. I think he actually went to Leo for this particular drama, for this advice. And of course, Leo just guided him through the process, and I think he's thrown him under the bus. Post-talk?
A more interesting story is the fallout that occurred during VidCon. It seems that Jar was very keen to meet up with other creators and have a conversation during the convention, with Mally bearing the brunt of his attentions. The DMs she would receive over the next couple of days are incredibly fucking weird. I don't want to read them in full, but I will give you...
No. This is not as bad as Vosh. I have to push back on that, Diamond. Okay. Not as bad as Vosh. That's the insane psycho who's going after him, which I'm considering covering because interesting video from him.
A solid summary. Jar begins by making it clear his intentions are to talk about the current drama. Mally is not very receptive to that. However, when she refuses a VC, Jar makes the very sensible move of suggesting they meet up.
Okay, the important thing for this stream is this inappropriate joke. Ola JK. It's going to come up later. A lot of window dressing. More the accuser of this crap.
Cool, and that's not what it was. I don't think. But yeah, he was kind of like just hunting for us at VidCon. We did.
This is a horrible fucking framing that does not line up with what Jar's going to say later. And of course, because Jar's an autistic moron who has the press against him, everyone's just going to listen and believe this person who's part of a shun group of Jar. Maybe they should have shunned him before, not use this as an excuse. I don't fucking know what these people are thinking half the time. Either YouTubers or those of this leftist perspective.
The girly thing is like we have the protection squad, so if someone spotted like anything Jar adjacent, they sent a group message being like, stay indoors.
Now, Mally wouldn't be the only person to have some weird interactions with Jar throughout the convention. Another notable individual is Ponder. Now, Ponder was on lookout duty.
Weirdo. Someone who made videos on Jar's 8 years earlier. I don't know what Jar thinks he should have been with these people in the first place. They hated him. They had great excuses. Maybe Harley was his end. I don't fucking know. Harley's a boatload of crap that I haven't looked into for a while. Because crazy crap happens.
And while chilling out outside, she'd find herself in a direct confrontation with Jar. I'm going to relay this to you really as simply as I can because it feels like a very convoluted story for a very small interplay. But one thing is for certain.
To the thing, and then we started like making our way to where we could go up to the creator level because we had a panel that we wanted.
They were either in like a hall or a panel beforehand.
Another subscriber count for credibility.
And Jar spotted them, started coming towards them.
Oh wait,
they started
I was there.
like, running away.
Okay, good. Julie, can you just
Okay, so we were literally
it's a jar
of the voice message that you sent to one of your artists. That became a bit of a sideline. Diesel comes in and drops a bombshell. Now, as far as
Okay, it is connected. Okay. It's really annoying it takes this long to learn it. 10 minutes. Why did you need all those women testimonials? Because it's more convincing, I guess.
You can tell. From what I've been told, every woman within the ACC who you've interacted with.
What he's been told, every woman
has a story like this. And when I spoke to Lo about it, he said, well, I wasn't aware Jar was still doing that. My understanding was that Jar has a girlfriend now and had stopped.
It truly my sense of humor. This is how I joke around, and I really should have stopped joking around like this once I got a girlfriend. This is not my attempts to hit on anyone.
Sure, it's not. It's again like I guess my view towards you isn't sort of, well, this is flirtatious. Though there's I can see where that accusation comes from. I don't want to.
God, how's he stuttering this much during this interview? It just seems really odd of Beckett.
Ascribe things. What I can say is this stuff is very, very odd. I mean, let's talk about
You don't want to say sexist or predatorial, I guess. You're trying to replace some of your leftist language. You don't want to seem too woke, Beckett, I guess. This is really weird. Sorry. I'm mind reading. I shouldn't. Okay, I'm interpreting.
About VidCon. Because, I've seen DM messages from you to Mally, and I've heard the stories of you sort of trying to find the girls at VidCon, and your interactions with Ponder. I mean, do you recognize these as sort of quite abnormal things to do?
Okay, I'm gonna have to scroll back.
Let's talk about VidCon.
It's a pain.
Because I've seen DM messages from you to Mally, and I've heard the stories of you sort of trying to find the girls at VidCon.
Okay, here's the one DM clip where he definitely said that one appropriate thing, which was followed by all JK immediately. And they try to make it out to be like every interaction. All these stories must be true because of the one DM that I showed earlier. I'm just the audience. Evidence-wise, this is crap. That's probably why you had to bring in the testimonials, because you didn't have enough other really great stuff. He has a few more things. I think they're weak overall, but the audience can judge that for themselves.
And your interactions with Ponder. I mean, do you recognize these as sort of quite abnormal things to do?
Well, at first,
quite sexist things to do.
I wanted to meet out with Mal, and the others because I've interacted with them for so long. And then Mal just was like, I don't want to see you. And I wasn't looking for them. Like, I wasn't looking for Mal or the others. Like, I swear.
Look, believe it or not, I believe Jar over the gaggle of females. Because this does not sound, from Jar, does not sound like he's lying. Could be a well-rehearsed line. I don't think Jar's smart enough to prepare that for this interview. But I could be wrong. Jar could be a secret autistic genius. And
first person I saw at VidCon.
But then they have to frame all this in a certain weird way where I'm not seeing it, but I'm going in it to be skeptical of this video and a lot of other things.
Was Harley. I think they were in a CVS pharmacy with possibly the right opinion. My roommate can confirm this for me. My roommate can. And I was just like, I don't want to interact with Harley. Like, they're hard.
So we have a roommate, not much better than the gaggle of females.
Really, and the others are upset with me. I don't want to interact with them.
I meant unless it's dreadlock thing and not a YouTuber who has nothing to it's roommate. financial aid, possibly, but biased on both sides. Yeah, why not interview the roommate or something like that, Beckett? Even out the playing field.
Right now. And as for the thing at VidCon with Ponder,
do you want to give me your version of that? Because
yeah,
the version I've heard is you sort of approaching her and shaking her hand, telling her who you were, and then laughing manically while walking away.
Okay, yeah, I get that. So what actually happened was I sat down to eat some ice cream, and then I heard Ponder's voice, and I looked to my left, and I noticed, that person looks like Ponder. And then I read the name tag, and I was like, oh my god, this is Ponder. So I said, oh, are you Ponder Sprocket? She gave me a sticker. I shook her hand. I said, I'm also a YouTuber. And she says, oh, who? And I said, just a robot. She yelled out, oh my god. And I immediately let go of her hand. She says I squeezed it, but I distinctly remember letting go, like just letting go immediately because I didn't want it to linger. And then I walked away.
Who the fuck cares if you squeezed it accidentally, man? Oh god, are they hyping that up? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know at this point. This seems like a believable recounting of this. And remember, actually, I don't know. I'm assuming Jar doesn't know the full context of what Beckett's going to ask him, the details. That's the impression I get from this. I would like, maybe he released the whole interview someplace. Really wish people would like, if they do interviews. Oh, they do. They do. Okay. I'll have to go over it sometime. Okay. Okay. Good on you, Beckett. I'm going to have to go over this Jar call. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And then when I got inside, I kind of laughed about it because of her reaction.
I mean, with the messages you sent to Mally, do you understand that those come across in quite... I mean, I know we're not saying flirtatious as a jokey side to it, but I mean, you did say, well, if you don't want to meet up or VC, we could meet for drinks and come to my hotel room.
And then I said, lol, JK, or something.
Do you have any other examples, Beckett, that you want to put on the file?
Sure, but that's still a very aggressively sexual thing to say, right?
Aggressively sexual joke!
Yes, I realize that.
Yes, he's been talked to by a whole bunch of people. He knows that. He believes that. Until he realizes he's being gaslit, most likely. Or think that. Because that comes up at some point. Why wouldn't someone like Jar believe he was gaslit, since there's probably a lot of examples of him being gaslit? Yes, he's overly paranoid. He's autistic. Does he have reasons to feel this way? I think he does. And this comes off badly.
I know I need to stop this. I've been given more.
But Vincent, he's admitting to it. Yes. Examples of being groomed. I meant not groomed in a sexual way. Sort of like guided. That sort of grooming by someone like Leo Convoy. And trying to find a new mentor. Maybe for autistically stupid reasons or to autistically stupid people. Well, the decision to go to some of the people were probably caused by is sort of having to go under the wing of people and banding up. Not a practice I particularly like, but it's the history of that.
Things about it. It's just now finally catching up to me, but this is something that is my one of my biggest character flaws, and it's always been my style of humor, and I don't know how. I'm going to try to get better, but sometimes I think, can I even do that?
Because I mean,
yes, he's autistic. Maybe they should try harder. But from what I know, it seems rather hard. Not an excuse, but I would like a better fucking thing than just a joke. I would like more examples. And we're going off of one example and a lot of hearsay. Because, yeah, you got to say that one example. You build your whole case off of that one example and a whole bunch of testimony. Oh, well, two examples if you count the one weird when he was probably drunk, a drunk dial. And it's good that that editor's like, oh, okay, I'm not dealing with this dude. You can watch her testimonials. I just don't think it really matters that much. I don't know the context around that, but that's me. I would like to know that without all this fucking framing.
Again, looking at even like minor players like Sunny, you posed, I believe, her to voice a character, a mouse that would be in love with you for your videos.
No.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. I don't think her character was supposed to be in love with me. There was just okay. So, you know how
this is such a weak sauce. Okay. He goes through this. I think this is a nothing burger here. Okay. Why? Why bring up this? This is interpretation. You have autism versus progressive people, and they're going to interpret this in a weird way. Jar actually does the thing, I think, it seems, to try to change. Okay, this is what the leftists always want. And they take advantage of autistic people in some cases. I don't know if in this case, but the Skullgirls is a great example of them taking advantage of an autistic man. Can't say this is this case for sure, but it seems to have a little bit of overlap. Just saying.
Which artist was it?
I'm just going to leave that anonymous if that's all right. But because from my perspective, this didn't come as a, I'd heard.
So from my perspective, what about from reality, Beckett?
Some of these stories beforehand of sort of odd.
Heard these stories beforehand. You didn't hear about the Professor Dreadlock sort of story from any of the ACC people you interviewed before this interview. Seems a little bit biased, Beckett.
Interactions. So it seems like, if it's like done amongst close friends, you can kind of go, that's understandable. But this seems to be just your interactions generally are quite odd.
Yeah.
Overall,
yeah. No, I want to make this clear. I'm not using this as an excuse, but just as an explanation. I'm not saying this completely means what I'm doing is okay. But not only do I have autism and dyslexia, so communication between people, especially through text, is horrible. But on top of that, I was pretty much homeschooled all my life, so I didn't really get to interact with people.
Oh, we have homeschool, and on top of that, Jar is a certifiable nutcase. That I won't disagree with.
Have explained it to me, and now it's hitting me harder than ever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to work on myself, but I'm nervous that I'll never get better.
It's kind of interesting because you made the allusion to Coyote, and I was thinking the same thing.
Coyote Lovely or someone else? I'm trying to think. Coyote Lovely. That guy or girl or whatever pronouns that person use. Fucking hell.
I mean, does it occur to you that this is more or less, you didn't get to go as far, but this is more or less a Coyote Lovely situation.
Oh,
I understand why people get that impression. The problem is I talk to everyone like that. Coyote only has spoken to 2 people like that as far as I'm aware, and Coyote did things like hire an artist to make pictures of him licking Sappho's butthole, and the most I've done is, hey Cindy, want to see my cock, and send a picture of a chicken. I think it's like, and also like,
well, even if it's to a lesser extent, because we can argue the semantics, but you built.
Yes, argue the semantics. This is what a lot of people like to do. What about the overall picture? Nope. Don't want to do the overall analysis of this. Because you know what? That would be the fair thing to do. That's one of my hangups. Sorry if it's boring.
A friendship with Cinebear, which, for whatever reason, Coyote, this is how it started with Coyote. He went to try and get Sappho, but ended up building that friendship and then relationship with them.
Well, here's the thing: if people, there's no way we can know for sure if I would go further or not. I'm going to say I wasn't, but I can understand if people would think I would go.
Yeah, a hypothetical speculation off of the back of Kumo's little craziness.
Have gone further with it. The thing is, I've talked to almost everyone like this, and
Timon. You need to understand, progressives are changing. Dude, it's evolving. A lot of them are going more for the anti-woke style. Okay, they're trying to seem cool and hip. Now that the culture has shifted to the right, they have to change. You think the progressives of this year are anything like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and you're gonna fucking get blindsided. Sorry, man. Progressives, conservatives, and everyone farther along the spectrum than both of those. Hell, even centrist has sort of radically changed how they act. Okay. Some of them almost seem genuinely like, yeah, I don't like this woke shit. I was thinking that about Chud and Beckett, and I think Chud really is moving away from it. I have questions about that. Beckett, I think he's still on board. I think the ACC is pulling him in. They do what they do. They pull everyone into their fucking shit. Okay. It's like a black hole of drama. But maybe Beckett and his little motley crew can hard wrangle that fucking community a little bit better than Leo did.
I need to stop it. It's an issue I have. Thank God I'm not doing it with you right now, because I know I need to avoid that. I'm not saying,
yeah, he's trying to
here's
break
my
the
cock and
impulse.
sending you, hey, why don't you see a dick pic, and I send you a picture of Dick Grayson.
I want to keep the theme of Jar's interactions with people, but shift gears a little bit.
These people disgust me. They don't care if what they did was wrong. They just care if they were caught.
Also, I'm going to try and research Chud Logic. Oh, I remember liking his stream. I think with his help, along with the recording, you little fucking bitch, you little wretch. Is that what you thought, was it?
It may come as absolutely no surprise.
Ah, okay. That's why. Communication problems. Yes, it could be exactly what people, Chud Logic, thought there. Could also be like, yeah, Chud Logic can help guide me to a better place. Guess what? He milked you for content. Everyone did. Everyone will keep doing it. So, Jar, if you ever watch this, stop trusting these YouTubers who have something to gain from your friendship. Find someone who doesn't want to do with this stuff, but's willing to listen to you. Is it that hard? It's hard to believe, but maybe it is for Jars with his special problems.
To you that that's exactly what Jar thought. Now, you may have noticed a little subscribe account number popping up when anybody's speaking, and that's because I wanted to give you
That's a solid example of progressive women manipulating a fucking autistic guy to do all this stuff just because they wanted shit. Tides has changed. They went from edgy, ooh, let's do nudity, to the more PC culture and being like, fuck this guy, let's throw him under the bus so we can get our little co-op. That's a solid example. This, I don't know if it has the same sort of mindset behind it, but that's speculation for you with a great example, which could apply or could be completely wrong.
an insight into how Jar sees the world. His relationships are almost entirely transactional. How much clout somebody has, how much influence they can hold, whether
I mean, the argument he makes here is a very presumptuous, but I think his supporting evidence might sort of hold water here.
they can be of benefit to him are the key things that he is thinking about. And when you fall from grace,
But I think it's overhyping. Okay, he's using over the top language for this, which I think isn't earned. But he's a Brit. That's what they like to do and are known for. Maybe I should give him the Brit. They're way too serious and way too bred to be to really do it fairly.
you are of no use to him anymore.
But I also can't get help from people like Lio, Peaches, and Doodle Cones. The last two left YouTube, and Lio's reputation is in the dirt.
Been there for you. I've done it for years now. You didn't even have the decency to come to me about this because I was, and I quote, canceled, which means somehow my information means nothing. That is not treating me.
And again, I wouldn't trust Leo's word on this. Maybe he is being honest here, but I have to question that.
Like a friend Jar that's treating me like an asset.
But I don't want to give you the impression this is the way Jar works only with larger content creators, as though he has the intelligence to be that tactical. In the current drama involving Cinebear, he begged a tiny content creator, Romantic Goblin.
Yes, this sort of fucking hurts your point, Beckett. You're saying he only goes to these bigger creators for this, then you saying he goes to this little creator. This hurts my head here. He could still be correct, but the cognitive dissonance with this sort of fucking paradox blows my mind.
To come and fight in his comment section with people who disagreed with him, and because Jar's only concerned to come and fight in his comment section.
Let's see. See. Oh, Jar. Oh, thanks to what? Thanks to what Kumo did, this is going to be 10 times harder. The fact you haven't been responding to me tells me you were the one to send it to him. So it seems like he's suspicious that Romantic Goblet, which I think is the truth. Who the fuck knows with that? He probably is right here. I've been busy at work. Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know. I think I know who leaked it. Although it's stupid, y'all think my friend. We typically watch shit together in Discord using screenshot. It's late at night. Forget I had it open on my window and went blah, 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 multitasking. My friend asked me because it was an unlisted video. They screenshot or linked or some shit I guess share with Kumo. Simply said, oh, sorry, wait until Sunday. Yeah, that's just my guess. Well, that's just great. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Put this back down. Oh, do you know why? He would do this. Is more likely. It's kind of okay.
With people who disagreed with him. And because Jar's only concern is whether you can be of use to him, it means he has basically no moral standards for the thing.
Oh, this hurts my head. No moral standards. Okay. This is definitely something worth considering to put in the video on Beckett. I don't know if he's going to make the video I'm working on, but going over this in autistic boring detail makes sense.
He talks about. Now, I don't want to get into the whole Spoctor drama because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But Spoctor was somebody who they basically had banged to rights as being in possession of illicit images of a minor. So you'd think Jar would have issues with this even years later. But in his interview with Cinebear, he makes the following statements.
Don't fuck up like Spoctor and Peaches did. Like, here's the thing. When it comes to the Spoctor situation, the dude got canceled for being a pussy. Like, if I was in that same situation as him, I would have been like, oh yeah, I stumbled upon it, looked through all the multiple folders I had on it, saw the 13-year-old nudes, freaked out, ripped it out, stomped on it, and flushed it down my toilet. I'm not a predator. I just held on to those nudes and deep within folders, and that's what happened to me. Oh well, guess I'll keep uploading like I normally did.
Now, I have been made aware of multiple images and instances where Jar has in some way downplayed.
He doesn't want to get into the Spoctor drama. From what I know, he had some sort of images of a 13-year-old. And when he turned 18, he's like, oh, I fucking have some lewd images from a girl on this hard drive. I forget if he burned it or what he did with it after he turned 18. That's my recollection. Beckett should have actually went into it more than bringing up this example just by bringing this up, just to use it against Jar when I don't even fucking know if it would apply.
Relationships between adults and minors. However, from what I've seen at time of recording, I don't think Jar is running these plays and defenses because he in some way has some skeletons in his closet. I think he was probably just going along the common consensus, and for those of you aware of the Fruitcake server leaks and the Toby drama, he wasn't the only one. Though it is
Probably, but why bring it up then?
Worth highlighting that if Jar has friends who have done serious things wrong, whether it be Cine or Spoctor, who bear some striking similarities, he will defend them because what's important to Jar is that his friends are useful, that his friends owe him, and ultimately...
Did he actually defend Spoctor? That would have been a better example than his recent example, which is trying to link past dramas together with new dramas. And maybe these aren't as similar. I don't fucking know. The Cinebear stuff. Did that involve a fucking hard drive that he got rid of a 13-year-old? I don't fucking know.
That he is getting validation for the takes he gives. And please note that I'm saying takes he gives, not his takes, because Jar doesn't have any fucking opinions of his own. Jar's opinions are formed by committee. And what's insane about this statement is that isn't something I'm saying. It's something that Mally said to him when they were having drama.
I've been insulted.
That's not something I'm saying. That's what Mally, who had drama with Jar 3 years ago, said to him. Let's see when I pressed him on this, what he had to say.
And saying my videos are designed by committee instead of just me, and I think they're right.
Jar is so incapable of having opinions of his own, he has to take criticism from years ago and rephrase it as self-reflection. I know this is going to sound petty as hell to some of you, but it really is a perfect example of what Jar does. The reason that Just a Robot has been involved in so many fucking dramas is because as a drama is nearing its end, what Jar will do is jump in, waving his banner saying, "Don't worry guys, Just a Robot's here," when the battle is already won. And the only way Jar has been able to continue this grift is by parroting the takes that have already won the day. Which is exactly what happened in the Cinebear drama, by the way. Just a Robot saw Chud Logic covering it and laughing at Birdie and assumed that meant public opinion was turning. And then he just simply stole Kumu's opinions. Unfortunately for him, Kumu's opinions on the topic were fucking retarded.
Yes, but did any of that happen? How are you forming this opinion yourself, Beckett, from things you're told by people who hate Jar? And as the thing...
And if it sounds like I'm losing my mind, it's because after hours of looking through this guy's history, it is infuriating how often this has happened. And by the way, just before you think I'm some sort of conspiracy theorist, I'm not the only one who's noticed this.
Jar to me is always going to be like a snake.
Again! Fucking Toastify! What does he have to do with any of this? What interactions? Oh, clout. Toastify is respected. This is all built on testimonials. This is about the oh God. Yeah, and let me not even speak on Toastify. I could have some words, but it's more suspicions, and that can't be told without getting shit.
In the grass. I think that's the best way to describe him. He comes around only when like all the situations are over, and he tries to act as if he was like the voice all along that people should have listened to. He has this I feel like he has this sort of like hero complex in a way when he makes his videos.
Which is exactly what
I need to bring this up. Let's
happened
look at
in the Cinebear drama, by the way. Just a Robot.
People always miss the language because the language can be very telling.
Saw Chud Logic covering it and laughing at Birdie and assumed for him. It's because after hours of looking through this guy's history,
You are assuming a lot based on nothing, or people who are against Jar, or from what I know, has very little interactions with Jar.
it is infuriating how often this has happened. And by the way, just before you think I'm some sort of conspiracy theorist, I'm not the only one who's noticed that.
There's other conspiracy theorists who agree with me. Not saying that's Toastify. I just don't know where Toastify's views on Jar come from even. Has he covered Jar? Was he planning to cover Jar? I don't fucking know.
Jar to me is always going to be like a snake in the grass. I think that's the best way to describe him. He comes around only when like all the situations are over, and he tries to act as if he was like the voice all along that people should have listened
He tries to act.
to. He has this I feel like he has this sort of like
I feel he has this sort of
hero complex in a way when he makes his
hero
videos. And the reality is that he just kind of he looks to an opinion so that he can repeat that's the prevailing one.
Example, Toastify? I'm sure you could give one, being the ultra high class ethical YouTuber.
And then I feel like he can just.
I feel like
he just kind of goes with the flow of the community, and that's how he's been able to just kind of get away with being this this fucking idiot, you know.
Yeah, he is an idiot. Okay, but in a sea of idiots, he fits right in. Good scapegoat, probably. Press in case of emergency.
Yes, I wonder looking at this when you've got a decently sized platform where your job on the internet is to commentate on things, where you're sort of saying to me, well, yes, I commentate on things, but I'm not actually sure I have any actual.
So he's pressing him on duty ethics. He has a responsibility with his platform, a duty, which is, I guess, relevant enough.
Opinions, which is, a bit of an odd juxtaposition.
I do have opinions. I do. It's just, I want my opinion to be right. Well, I guess everybody does to a certain extent. It's just, sometimes I'm trying to, the problem with, one of my biggest problems is I'm trying to seem like a very good version of myself to both sides, or all sides, and
he's a centrist. All sides, both sides. Can't make them all happy, Jar. You should just go with your opinion and ask for advice here and there. But he doesn't, because he definitely is in need of, what is it called? Validation, I believe. That's my impression, but I'm not a psychologist. Okay. Only AA and psychology. That does not make me qualified to psychoanalyze people. I wonder what gives other people their sort of basis for psychoanalyzing all these people.
I've been trying to strike that balance and I can't, and now I have to realize who am I? And I kind of, a lot of people have noticed I've flip-flopped to being more progressive and trying to work on pronouns to being more edgy, and I keep going back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what I prefer. I don't know what I want.
Before we move on, I want to get to why Jar.
Yeah, this does not back up anything he says. He's definitely worried about his style. Okay, his opinions and how he crafts them, definitely up for debate. By his own opinions, he has them. And he usually tries to pull people in to support his perspective or something like that.
Survived so long.
It's just when you constantly win, like I have.
Now, this might seem like a slightly odd statement given what we've seen recently, but I promise you there is actually an explanation, and it's highlighted in the recent call Kumu had with Cinebat.
What does this have to do with Char? Okay, we'll go.
Like
about Jar grooming and sexual.
Again, this woman was covered by Akumo. Someone that definitely should have been on Beckett's ACC list. But they all just want to have this dysfunctional relationship start over again because it makes for great content until it blows up in your face like it did with Leo, like it did with Jar, like it did with Kumo, like it does every time if you let it keep on keeping on. It's just stupidity, insanity that they keep trying to do the same thing with a slightly different twist, but I can see the seeds of the ACC within this video, and I think he, after the failed Destiny video where he was like, I admit it, he was trying to fix Sunday's mistakes, but his video was also very mistaken, but he was trying to be unbiased. He wasn't trying to be unbiased here. He was not trying to be unbiased at all here.
To make up false allegations about Jar grooming and sexually abusing his niece, who doesn't exist. So, for context, Chaos 55T was originally part of the people who drove Jar off of DeviantArt. This is like bits and pieces that I remember from his DeviantArt whatever story. She made up allegedly she made up someone who doesn't exist and claimed that Jar
allegedly she made up someone who doesn't exist,
drove this person to,
so it could be true,
to end themselves. When Jar came forward and talked about what he dealt with, obviously Chaos got a lot of flack from that. She dipped. A few months later, maybe a year later, I don't exactly remember the time frame, Fluffy Turbo, who was one of Chaos's friends, started going around to people, Laka Moka Laka and myself included, trying to pass off these screenshots as allegations that Jar was grooming a minor and that he had in the past sexually assaulted his niece. I went over this stuff, and in the course of 5 minutes, I told Fluffy Turbo to shove it. But I think 2 weeks after that, she brought the allegations to the public.
And Akumu has covered and admitted, has uncovered, deleted, and unlisted videos from this creator. Okay, just when people hide so much, it's just weird to trust their word, especially when you know from Akumu, but maybe he doesn't believe Akumu or is just using Akumu for content. I don't fucking know. This is a weird fucking bunch here, but that's ACC content for you.
And tried to
something I don't think anyone should get directly involved with.
Press them. So I did a stream going through them, basically being all like
TV, who in early 20...
And he managed to... I gotta commend Beckett for this Wick insertion. Because he's right. This is really weird. But this is a good technique. I like this. Is it dishonest? Maybe a little bit. Okay, I don't know about that.
23 removed me from a panel so he could rizz up another member of said panel because she had more subscribers than me. Now, Wick's history of scumbaggery is well documented. We also clashed in early...
Besides the sort of turn, this will also create a sort of parallel between Jar and Wick in this instance. Bias in his audience who knows nothing about Jar with his audience, which existed before the ACC. I don't know how similar or the overlap goes, but he's got a lot of ACC people and a lot of other people. So it's not just the ACC, it's ACC plus. That's Beckett's sort of new sort of group, it seems like.
2024, when it was discovered that he was working with Progressive Victory, undisclosed to his audience, while promoting them. And if you're confused as to why I'd bring up a completely unrelated person who has nothing to do with any of this in the middle of a video on Jar, I don't blame you. So please...
Besides trying to make the comparison, which from the audience perspective, they might take this away if they're more familiar with Beckett's interaction with Wick than they are of Jar. Just something to keep in mind.
Please explain to me why every single Just a Robot drama video has a section rehashing his grievances with people who are nothing to do with anything, and they're randomly inserted in the most awkward way possible. In his hit piece...
Well, at least he has the excuse of being autistic and trying to draw from his previous comparisons. Okay, it makes sense if you understand his profile, which I don't think Beckett is analyzing this properly. Maybe he's not attending for this to be a hit piece or as hit PC as it comes off. But at the end of the day, his bias is still turning this against Jar, which seems a little slimy to me.
On Doodle Tones, he basically stops talking about her for 3 minutes so he can talk about how much better he is than all the other commentators he's fought with over the years. And in case you think this is an isolated incident, no, this is just how Jar works. In his recent conversation with Leo...
This is just how Jar works. Here's a clip that totally proves it from Leo.
Convoy. When his credibility and reputation is crumbling, he promises never to make a drama video again. Though he does have one question.
Quick question. I do have one drama video that is all finished, and I was thinking of just making it a Patreon exclusive. Do you think I should do that?
No.
Jar has a pathological need to go after people who have slighted him in the...
No, he has a pathological need to get verification from those around him, permission. And he actually went against it, and it fucking blew up in his face this time, as it should have, from what I know. The whole drama is autistic and pulled way too many people in over something that seemed rather small. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's more serious than I know.
And while he is talking about how he will never engage in drama content again, this is something I would be deeply skeptical of. This isn't the first time Jar has taken a break. And secondly, because deep down...
Yeah, no shit. Bringing up Mr. Sin and fucking all these weirdos. Okay, the one who went after fucking Lyrics for the Lolicon stuff. Lyrics liked a few pictures of people. I don't want to make the argument of what the fuck of authority. I'm just saying all the people have biases. Mr. Sen fucking went after Lolicon Lyrics because he liked some fucking tweets. Why he was so mad at fucking Lyrics for having that sort of reputation, because he actually had a roleplay session with a lolly with cat ears. I didn't know it was a lolly. The cat ears. Funniest thing in the world. I actually believe Sin is that stupid to actually believe that. Okay.
Jar is deeply, deeply vengeful.
Every time I go to bed and I'm about to fall asleep, I just feel angry about sometimes things that have happened 10 years ago, and sometimes I feel like revenge is the only thing that keeps me going.
And don't get me twisted, I personally...
That's a horrible fucking... That's a great line to fucking poison the well with. What was the setup for that? That could have been set up. But that's probably how he feels, actually.
I love a little bit of...
I swear. The stupidity goes around.
vengeance. But one of the frustrating things about Jar is his need to be seen as the hero and never the villain.
When I'm winning in a drama, I try to show my opponents mercy. I guarantee you, if the situation was flipped, Diaper Tones would not have done the same. I knew this from the beginning.
Diaper Tones. Very nice. Yes, crazy, crazy, crazy. We know this.
Just video after video after video on you. The next element is Jar's audience, which Jar himself describes as quite toxic. And while he claims to have taken steps to try and get them to chill the fuck out a bit, the honest truth is the only way to get your audience to stop gunning for somebody is to just stop talking about them.
I do these drama videos to bring justice. I have a big channel, which gives me a lot of power.
Look, Jar is absolutely aware of the threat he poses to smaller content creators. And within the ACC, many people just don't want to deal with something like that. In fact, one of the common questions I was asked is, are you sure you want to go down this route? Because you are going to be hearing about it for the rest of your life online. Just as an aside on this topic, I want to note Jar's startling paranoia, which has managed to fuck him over in ways he wasn't even aware of. I'm aware that you were worried that the ACC girlies were going to go after you. And, you know, you seem to make allusions to this in the commentary video.
And they did once they had enough back in fucking Beckett. You proved it. You helped the girlies out.
Well, to be fair, they've been going after me. They're not just women.
Do you know that there was only one video planned on you, and it was a defense video?
And why should fucking Jar believes that? He does, of course, because he's an idiot. I wouldn't believe it. I'll be like, why? What makes you say that? Who told you that? But Jar's not me. He doesn't ask the right questions. He just lets himself take it. Just take it.
No.
I know that Jar has been allegedly paranoid that the ACC is like planning on making a video on him or whatever. I have not been aware of any videos that people have been planning on making about Jar, except.
But you're a fucking. Kumo has done a good job to highlight Pondersprocket dishonesty.
For one, I was making.
And that seems to be accepted by even in fucking theirs. But I guess she apologized or something, probably.
I mean, you do have an entire second channel, which does seem to be sort of vengeance responses to people.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, going back to 2013.
Back to 2013?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
That
I thought you were talking about the recent stuff. Yeah, this is one issue I do have. I just have a very strong desire to get back at people. And the worst part is, once you do, it doesn't feel that great. It feels a little good, but it doesn't feel nearly as great as you would think it does. And I was trying to respond to every single video ever made on me on my second channel at one point, but then I got bored. And now I realize like how silly and stupid that made me look, because I could have been making videos that people actually gave a shit about.
Yep, you're a dumbass. And not all criticism is worth covering.
And got a lot more views. And granted, response videos are a lot easier to make.
Oh, God.
Like, you know what you're saying, you know what they're saying.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I suppose you're right. I mean, that's the risk of having a platform. And I'm going to be honest here, I don't like that, because I've done what I can to keep my fans off of Doodle Tone's back for a very, very long time. I've been saying in my more recent drama videos on the old channel, please do not attack this person. And like I've been, and other stuff.
That's true, but I mean, from what I can hear from behind the scenes,
behind the scenes,
that may be what you say publicly, but it seems like privately you have at least alluded to that threat while having dramas with people.
Alluding to the threat?
Well, I have said, like, listen, like, I think a good example is the Vincent Skullman stuff. Like, he made a video on me, and I wanted to talk things out with him instead of making a video, because he was a very sensitive guy, and I was like, my fans are so toxic, I didn't want them to go after him. And I tried to talk things out with him in private. Eventually, it did work. Unfortunately, that created issues with him, Lio, and Linlin, and I was like, oh my god, I did not want that to happen. I try my best to work things out with people, but
yeah, Lio and Linlin, someone else picks up on it and they go with it. This is just the insanity of the ACC. Even the backroom stuff gets out there, and maybe that's good, but this is retarded from Beckett. Is he autistic? Is this his problem? Why he's following it? Wow. I have a theory that the internet, even myself to a certain degree, have a certain bit of autism, even if they're not autistic. just trying to communicate with certain people and certain communities online. You have to be a little autistic or learn it.
I just sometimes don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Like, I do desire revenge. I do desire to get back at people, but I also desire to work things out with people and talk through things with them. And with Lio, for a long time, that he was a big help with that. I sat down and talked things out with multiple people instead of just because, as much as people fear my.
Yeah, I'm not going to say grooming because people misinterpret it, but he was definitely trying to guide Jar on the right path. Obviously, he fucked up. Obviously, he fucked up himself and wasn't able to deal with the stuff. Maybe Lyle really did get dealt a bad hand, but he's going back to bad habits I've seen here and there. Maybe that's just from what I've seen.
My vengefulness. I also fear the vengefulness of others.
Looking at where you're sat now, I know you said you're not going to make more drama videos, so you're going to take a step back from that because of Lio. So is that you know, I suppose the question people will have is this you saying that now? Or like if I needed somebody who I thought I could get or I could use a platform for to like just even plant a seed of an idea, he would be the fucking last person I pick.
Okay.
Yes, Beckett. Why are you using him within this? Oh, search my.
2 reasons, but after this, I need to go for a little bit because I need to take a dump.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So it might just be gas. It should just take 5 minutes. So don't
like why keep this in? Jesus.
Like turn off the call or anything. I'll just mute myself and
I'll grab it. I'll grab a drink while you're doing it.
Yeah. So one is I was suggested that he was more fair to Cine than anyone else. He seemed more skeptical. And 2, Chud did a video on me back in, as he said it, his soy days. And out of any video I've ever seen on me, I thought it was the most fair and balanced. So I thought, oh, this seems like a guy who's fair and balanced. And, you know, maybe he is, but he probably, like, when I got onto that stream and I saw how angry he was, I realized, oh, no, I messed up.
When he saw how angry he was very receptive to that. He's like, oh, the anger sort of threw him
I think
up.
it's fair to say that Jar dangerously misjudged how wider commentary would react to something like the Cinebear story.
Wider commentary. This is what plays into this. And yeah, Tom has a video going over this video, and I think it's rather lukewarm. Even he's like bringing up some of the points I do, but he's much lazier with it than me.
Art commentary involves
but it's Turkey Tom. He's rise into the art commentary.
Extraordinary amount of things that happen behind the scenes in people's interpersonal relationships. This leads to long-standing beefs and feuds that go on for years in some cases. But let's be honest, wider commentary's intention is quite different.
No, I mean, like, it's just content, right? Yeah, for sure.
Frankly, most stories we talk.
It's just content to wider commentary. You're using fucking Queeman. I swear, they're trying to change the game. The wording of it, there was a cute coup attempt that I'm not going to get into, but I'm going to keep that little section probably in the video.
Talk about as commentators, we don't have a deep emotional investment in. Most coverage is going to be pretty dispassionate. And
What the hell? You are fucking psychotic if you want to think this is dispassionate. Are you gaslighting me, Beckett, here? Where's the Himpleton video you said? Even I think he actually cut down the Himpleton section in his last video. Probably some backroom talk. That's why the Himpleton or too long, or I don't even know. I'll forgive him because of the Queeman interview for not doing the Himpleton video, which I was interested in getting some of the deets on.
I didn't make this video because I hate Jar. I did it because I lack impulse control in a social life. Honestly, the entire Cinebear drama highlights the issues with becoming overly invested in a story. The issues Jar, and frankly anybody else even tangentially involved in this mess have faced, should be a stark reminder to everyone of the flack you will catch if you make this mistake. Finally, I just like...
Yeah, all that's true. I can agree with the end of this. Makes him seem reasonable at the end. There's certain points where he comes off as reasonable. But Beckett, like Judd, I don't really think that they're fair. They're doing this for optics. They're trying to seem fair for optics, but they have a strong bias that's gonna skew their views. I have a bias also, which probably skews me against these views. So take that with a grain of salt.
I'd like to thank everyone who's involved in helping with this project, from interviews to art assets. It's all really
Suck, 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 suck up, punch down. What else do I have to go over in this wonderful series of events? Why I really need to get something set up because I see my voice is probably coming through shittily. Do 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 do. Ah, yes. Let's go with a little bit of
I'm not familiar with this game, but I
Akumu. We're gonna take a quick look at this little Akumu video to see ponders. Let's see who comes up. Another big player in the RACC. Just a little bit of Kumu. You know, you guys can take it. Game, Ponder Sprocket. Maybe I should have looked. I think I would have had some thoughts about it. Let's just play.
Affected UI Joker in his long thing telling me I needed to grow up, proceeds to give a speech in one of the calls, nearly identical to the hero speech from Deadpool that Colossus gave.
Want to act like a hero. Trying
Doodle
to be
tones!
Donnie's knight in his shining armor. But here is something that should be important.
Quote retweeted me and turned it into that they were the giant army dogpiling one individual and that I took them all out. They
Oh, wow. How's it different with Jar?
didn't particularly like this, the name's Junkie specifically. So he quote retweeted me and turned it into a copy pasta for the Art and SCC to then partake in mocking me. Several people within the slideshow commentary community took part in it. Avier, AO Speedwagon, Mr. A and Mario, Renmankins, who was going by Jespa at the time, and many more. Which is really interesting because when they get mean tweets made at them, it's harassment. But then when they're partaking and dunking on one individual, suddenly it's different when they're doing it. But regardless, they proceeded to make it a sort of running gag. But my question is, was I wrong? Look at how things are now. And I was happily flaunting the fact that I was a pariah. Kai and especially Linlan were throwing a fucking tantrum. I mean, multiple tantrums on Twitter.
There's some more information.
Because I happily accepted the fact that I was a pariah. You see, you're not allowed to have fun with it. You're supposed to take them literally, and they can compare you to all kinds of villains and so on. These people in these communities believe that they are inherently good people because of their politics, because they don't say certain mean words, and because someone they don't like says mean things and so on. They're inherently a bad, evil person and comparable to any sort of villain that they want to compare them to. People who are so immature that they can't grasp the idea that things aren't black and white. They constantly have to force things into a good versus bad dichotomy, are the ones that LARP as the more mature individuals, and those who aren't like them are the immature ones who haven't grown up. This is something I've dealt with numerously. You can go and see this in Ponder's comment section, people returning to our videos to proclaim that I've never grown up.
Ponder's Pocket, who Beckett use.
I haven't matured, and so on, all because I have not conform to their ways. I have not become a whiny little bitch that wants to language police and pretend as though I believe in certain things that I don't. They think that I need their approval to grow, to mature, to continue, and to flourish. And the fact that I don't have their approval, but continue to move.
This makes me wonder why Akumu would want to associate and fucking Gilded Poo, because they accept him, they defend him. I don't fucking know. They don't really.
Forward.
They're probably going to eat him alive. Beckett's probably going to be like Chud and just go after anyone, anytime. Because it's all content to them. This guy, there's a little bit of backbone in him. And he definitely is. I think he had the same impression of Kumu when he first met him as I did when I first started looking into this. That Kumu is the least insane person within the scene. That doesn't make him sane. I have a comment where he fucking hearted it. So I guess it got approval.
Back of their mind. Because I'm the bad guy. And the reason they do this is for two reasons. They need to tell themselves and reaffirm to themselves that they're a good person, that they're doing the good thing, because they have the approval of the majority.
And maybe he's wrong about this. It just, I agree with him on this from what I've seen. He's gone through it in autistic detail also. This video was much better from Cope and Seed. I'm not going to go over it. Here's Tom Dark going over it. That stuff, lots of stuff. Response with receipts. Don't want to go over a lot of this crap. What did I want to go over? Yeah, maybe it was this. Because I found this is a separate matter. So let me actually go to this. Because I have a little section here.
Well, the thing is, I don't
I'll
think
let
it's
this play
cool
in
to
the
talk
beginning.
about raping women, especially.
Just for context to this, Westside Tyler got into horrible fighting with all these guys. So of course he's gonna call them the commentary community when they're just the ArtCC hybrid. It seems like to me.
Especially women who are sexual assault survivors, no matter what you think they've done on the internet.
He just said womp womp. Oh,
Womp womp.
So
That is
to
bad.
talk about raping women, especially women who are sexual assault survivors, no matter what you think they've done on the internet, that's inappropriate. You know, that's just a crazy take I have.
okay. So yeah, this guy can get it, and Becky can get it too. Becky is pro rape. This guy literally just came out in favor of rape.
This guy's psychotic. This is the guy I was tracking because I don't think his ideas are good, but I think he's very persuasive. Very persuasive. And he's gone up against this whole group over something that. But here's what I wanted to go over for some strange reason.
But she's shit-faced upstairs, and he's like, why don't you go upstairs with her? And he's like, you mean ravish her in that state? I'd consider it, but it's not great. Like, wait, oh, you're talking about raping that girl. Like, they casually bring up raping the girl.
He's talking about 16 candles. Okay. He wants all talk out of art, but not really. This is really weird from Tyler here.
This is the context of old America. And it's good that we're getting away from it. I can say that you can get like an amnesty for being a shitheel and talking about stupid stuff like that a while ago. You don't have to feel bad retroactively, more so than you probably already do, and be punished for it. But you have to move on. It's time to move on from it because it wasn't that good of content in the first place. Like every rape joke is just the same fucking 2 jokes, period, right? They're gross. They're gross. And most of them are about 2 things: making women afraid of men or of reporting things that happen to them and making men feel okay with doing them, or like lightening the mood around rape is the first thing, so that it makes it more doable and less reportable. And also to just basically make jokes about how like black men are sexual demons that would.
Like, this is just way overstretching it. There is a grain of truth within these fucking Discord groups about fucking rape being overemphasized. And it does make a chance that someone's going to be like, okay, you're talking about rape. You almost sound serious. Are you serious? But nah, I'm joking. It sort of blurs the lines. That's the closest to this delusional take that I'll go with Tyler on. Completely, utterly psychotic person, in my opinion. I think he's way too hard. He's just leaning way too hard into this. And he's making connections. He's starting with the drama. I don't think Beckett should get involved with this craziness, with how crazy Tyler is.
The second they stop getting pussy, they start fucking men. That's it. That's like the vast majority. I can't think of too many other rape jokes.
Oh, God. You only care about the Queeman. He'll get a mention in the next video. Okay. He definitely starts off with his question. I need to establish what the standards of commentary community, and for it, I need to make sure I'm talking about that good old group who's gone ways. Tommy C's old group, fucking hell, Willie Mack, Nicholas Diorio. I guess you want to include Augie, even though he's sort of drifting away from them. And there's still a few people who have that sort of mindset. So, yeah, I'm taking more time with that, planning that one out more. This is part of the research for it to see what I should include
in my life, right? And I'm kind of glad that I've avoided them. In a general sense, they're gross, right? It better be the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. You're policing comedy. Well, the police the sexual assault. First off, it's a policeable thing.
Oh, God.
Second, it's not that funny.
So he
I
just
will police bad jokes. So your hack premise of sexual assault is not necessary. It better be the fun.
See, Tyler's representing the other side of the coin. The Britney, Brittany Wu, Brianna Wu type, the moralistic side of the left that's coming out. That seems like the conservatives with the harsh stuff. I can sympathize with some points, but he goes too fucking far with this shit. And he's just a complete madman who just breaks all the rules. Sort of like Vosh. But he's like a counter Vosh.
Thing I've ever heard, where it has to be
Weird
retroactively a full ass beating of return for how hacky you are, because you're wasting everybody's time.
Okay.
But the thing is like, as a purity test, I think that's fine, especially if you're a femme. If you're a femme,
Purity test. Okay. It's gatekeeping methodologies, which also is forming on the right. That's all purity testing is. Okay. Purity testing is a good word. Are you with us or are you against us? That's what it is. And he's fine with it. I don't like it personally. I think it stifles things. And I think he's a bit of a spur, but I think his message is easy and simple to understand. And he's probably going to have a longer run with how he's doing it. And that's just sad because despite my criticisms against Beckett, I think he has something. And on that note, had an interesting interaction that I might include in my video. Let me just go over this Chris the Narc section. Just mark it down, everyone. Also, the chat plays a part like this. So I need to go back into the left, back into the left. Let's go a little bit early.
2024.
He
never did. PewDiePie jumped onto the wave of commentary. Commentary started during the rant days.
Oh,
of
yeah,
08.
yeah. I got the right
How
video.
are you already so wrong in 34 seconds?
Yep. PewDiePie being a spur.
Stuff and all that into a version of commentary.
Don't you just fly like a normal?
I guess contribution to this form in a YouTube soft power was a meme review.
Ben Shapiro, do we have time for both?
So PewDiePie asked me. Okay, yeah, he did meme review with Ben Shapiro. Who cares? Does that mean that he's a Nazi? Ben Shapiro was a massive meme at that time.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that PewDiePie's like, yeah, dude,
Okay.
I'm totally for the white race. Like, what? He had
the Hitler thing, Chris. Did you forget about the Hitler thing that this guy didn't even bring up? This is a stupid idea.
I love people have aged hair.
Yeah, you could call it corny all day long. Memes come and go. Like, yeah, the meme videos age poorly, but like,
I hear. This is where I come in. Yeah, I love people trying to say what commentary is, especially from the outside.
how is he a Nazi? And Ben Shapiro's a Jew. Like, will you argue that this is the typical argument? It's like all conservatives are Nazi, no matter if they're Jewish or not. It's like, okay, dude. Like, okay.
Like, I think.
Will Elon Musk post meme review? Gosh darn, it would make my life.
Okay, dude. The sheer fact that he brought on Elon Musk when he was not problematic and one of the most popular billionaires in the world, and he was a dank memer, bro. Like, what? How was PewDiePie supposed to know he was going to work with the Donald Trump administration? Yes, it didn't age
Yes, he needs to have 20/20 hindsight.
poorly, yeah, but does that mean that he was platforming Nazis? No.
Hey, welcome to Meme Review with your host.
Who would have guessed that Justin Roiland would have done what he did? How is this like? How is this his fault?
He's trying to put PewDiePie back in the deplorables because not a lot of people believe he was the first neo-Nazi. But good tag phrase, I guess, for getting clicks.
You're not even talking about the content. You're talking about the people he brought on.
Justin Roiland and Elon Musk. Yeah, welcome.
Why are we trying to retroactive date back the Elon Musk meme review? Like PewDiePie knew that was going to happen. Dude, we are revising history so much.
Yeah. Buddy Vid 16, hindsight's really 2020. Vincent Martin, post hoc rationalization.
In the first minute and 30 seconds. The first minute and 30 seconds is literally just revising all of history.
First of all, when we're talking about PewDiePie, we are talking about soft power. Because PewDiePie was not just PewDiePie. You know, PewDiePie was the persona that PewDiePie built on that platform.
What are you talking about? PewDiePie's always been PewDiePie. There has been no character nor persona. PewDiePie's always been PewDiePie. He's always been that guy. Does he ham it up for the camera? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he has a character. He doesn't.
Yep, a lot of people do that at the end of the day. Here's where my line comes in. Why would anyone go over the old debate between Willie Mack and Hassan?
Just like he is in his videos. It's the same goddamn person. No difference. He's just a dude. He's just a guy hanging out on
It really makes one wonder.
the internet. Like, I've never heard anything bad about him.
Honestly,
A little bit of my sarcastic humor being inserted in here.
Privately. Chef, out. Come on. Yeah, he's got Funko Pops, so that should tell you a lot about this guy.
very impressive for an independent creative. But when you consider the ethos in which he curated his positions on, he'll be like, out of all the OG YouTubers,
No, we won't, because we all know PewDiePie's history. Like, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Jacksepticeye the only from my childhood that didn't disappoint. Yeah, there's not really.
Jacksepticeye is the only one that didn't disappoint. What about Markiplier's done nothing? Markiplier's done.
Yes, he didn't prove himself to be a credible ally in the POC leftist community, Chris.
The same shit for decades. There's a bunch of people from your childhood that are still doing the same thing. PewDiePie's been doing the same thing. He just toned down the edginess.
What the hell is the profile picture supposed to be? To be honest, I'm not sure. Thank you, questioning.
What do you mean? That's just what his profile photo. Okay. Yes, you can call it cringe. I have no problem with you calling PewDiePie's content cringe.
Neither do I. Neither do I. I'm waiting for my thing. Somehow, Critical Shogun, the mod for Kristen Ark, felt the need to say something. Very interesting.
How is he a Nazi? How is he a Nazi?
Especially, it's nice to see you here too. Let's get into this rabbit hole. What is a neo-Nazi, guys? Do y'all know the definition of a neo? Like, bad answers are allowed. Bad answers are allowed here. Also, have you ever seen Black's PewDiePie video? Unfortunately, get struck down. Yeah, I've seen that one. It's a good one. I think Dan TDM and Markiplier also age really well. Yeah, but what is a neo-Nazi, chat? A new Nazi. A new Nazi. Yes, a new.
Okay, does this mean that PewDiePie's a neo-Nazi? I'm just curious, bro. Like, how are you going to argue this? Like, what's going?
No, he's just going to keep on repeating until chat can't argue with him. He's just going to keep asking. Illusionary truth effect. Most people who use it don't even realize they're tapping into that untapped potential. It just works.
Hold on.
You're on the right track. You're on the right track. But the thing is, the term of like Nazi ideology has changed and differed over time. You know what I'm saying? We live in a postmodern context where we live in an age of white.
Postmodern context, basically saying narratives over what can be proven.
Nationalism, right? There's ICE agents, Donald Trump, active against Palestine, Sudan, the Congo, and a European government.
Here it is. So let me get to it. Vincent Martin, Queeman still owned you and stop ducking Aiden underground. If Aiden's saying I'm ducking him, that's retarded. He can set up. Incorrect. About the Queeman still owed me. That is hilarious. He lied to me and told me a whole bunch of bullshit on stream mostly. But hey, we're living in a postmodern utopia. Queeman's bullshit shit just flies. And why? I would rather verify something before confirming it. Yeah, incorrect. And tell Aiden to invite me on first Critical Shogun. Preferably with a debate topic instead of just talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Dude, not all of us are terminally online, Aiden, Queeman, all these motherfuckers. Hell, I start the stream at this time because that's the freest time I have, and I'm losing a little bit of sleep over it, trying to plan it out. I have a normal life. I'm going to go to I took a quick nap before I did the stream. I'm going to take a quick nap before I end up starting the fucking day, and it's going to be a drag.
To kill people that are fleeing from those areas, you know what I'm saying? And what's being essentially
I'm just going to hold my opinions on like half of that stuff. Now, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why am I continuing with this? Probably shouldn't. Good enough to sort of wrap this up. Added this last bit just to have it on the record. Guys, a lot of this is going to sort of just me sort of going over the Beckett video to lay out my thoughts of his version of commentary, which isn't really a standard that I really hold, but I'm sort of old school. If anyone saw the old video, I'm also more, I can't really say I'm purely satirical nowadays. I was heavily into satire earlier on in my little thing because I definitely didn't take things too seriously. Now, I take things a little bit more seriously, but at the end of the day, how can you fucking cross a line or be edgy at all when there is no edge to be edgy at? That's what I don't like. Sure, edgy's great, but the fun of being edgy with comedy and pulling it off correctly, in my opinion, is set up and pay off. Comedy, you know, not just using this is satire because I want an excuse why I do the thing I do and say the thing I do. I think it's a bitch move. I can justify my satirical techniques to people. Most people don't want to hear them. That's fine. I'll let them have their postmodern view on things. I'm trying to get back to a neo-modernistic sort of approach. Yeah, not a lot of people are doing it. It's not very popular. But that's me, and other people have opinions, and they're more popular, but it ain't going to shut me up at the end of the day. Doesn't mean I have to follow their rules or standards just because they yell a lot and stream a lot and say whatever they need to pander to a certain crowd. Because that's what it seems like a lot of these people do. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it just blows up in their face. That said, I'm done.